lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
Matt Williams got a brilliant start from the third row of the grid.
He's gone, he's hit him, he's straight off at the chase.
A half-second lead. Oh, with the sizzling car in the background.
He has, oh, he's round on the last lap.
There's a massive, massive accident.
Goes to the inside, what a move, what a move. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 2 of Automoblista Australia's OZTCAC Championship. I'm Chris Riddell, and with me tonight, as he was last time, is Michael Zalavari. They invited us back for a second time. How you doing, mate?
Yes, they wanted us back. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everyone. It's actually great to be back. I've been looking forward to this for the last 2 weeks because I'm quite excited to be able to do it again. I'm glad that they invited us back. And we didn't do a bad job, hopefully.
I'm pretty sure we didn't. And let's be honest, if the racing's as good as what we saw in round 1, we're in for an absolute treat.
Yes, it's after what we saw at race 1. I think Devonish put up some photos in the Automoblista Australia Facebook group of the cars 6 wide down the main straight. And if we get something similar to that today, I think we're just going to be in for another treat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, we're in for a treat because we're at a track that you and I didn't really know existed, but we're here today at Barber Motorsport Park. And it's an absolutely fantastic venue.
Yeah, I can't believe I've never really heard of this track before or seen a race at this track before. It's a beautiful looking place, especially where we're running the autumn thread for this race, so the trees are all dropping their leaves everywhere. It's all very nice and brown and woody. It looks gorgeous, but I think one of the coolest parts about this track for me is the elevation change. It's like a roller coaster. You're going up and down, and there's blind corners, there's crests. It's a cool track to race at.
It is, and fairly modern too. And some of the artwork, it's just a great motorsport facility. Just a pity it's in Alabama. It's too far away for us to go to in real life. But
for now,
we'll see where this commentary takes us. But this is the second round of a 9-race championship. In the next race we're going to in 2 weeks' time is Adelaide, personal favourite of everybody, yours especially.
Yes, very much.
And then we've got Montreal all the way down to Brands Hatch GP at the end of July. And we should probably mention the drivers' points as well after the round 1. So
Devonish on top with taking the win in the first race last fortnight rather, 37 points, followed by Lime Mitch, who I think took second or third in one of those races as well. I'm not sure how far they counted back to in that first race, but it looks like he took a second place, and then Ozrob in third place with the win in the second race last fortnight.
Mm-hmm. And of course, those wins do equate to SPA, specific performance adjustments. In other words, weight on or weight off your car, and we'll cross those as we get to the race itself a little bit later. But let's have a bit more about this track, shall we? It's a fantastic venue, as we've discussed. Why don't you talk us through it, Fun?
Yeah, we've mentioned the elevation change, and that's probably the biggest notable feature of the track. It's very up and down, and the rolling hills of the landscape, as I said, make the crests and blind corners a lot more difficult than the track map itself suggests. You start with a swooping left-hander that encourages you to take more track where there isn't. And then there's a lot of opening radius corners, and by that I mean they start off tight and then they open out. What this will do during the race is it will torture the front tires. I was running a few practice laps in here in a server last week, and after about 3 or 4 laps, your front tires are absolutely cooked. So in terms of strategy for today's racing, I don't think there will be too much messing about and shenanigans with not taking tires and that sort of stuff, because the losses by not taking tires are going to be so much more than the time spent in pit lane taking the tires.
Mm-hmm. And we should probably mention as well, this race format for this week is a little different than what we saw last race. we have a sprint race and a feature race. So that first race, you won't need to stop at all.
No, not at all. And that's going to be pretty interesting in terms of how much life you've got left in the tires, because it's going to be about a 22-minute race, which equates to around about 15-ish laps. They're running at about a 1:28 sort of pace for the mid pack, so around 90 seconds a lap. So 15 laps ish. It'll be really tight to see who manages their tire wear well enough to get through and have the life at the end. But the second race is going to be a full 45-minute race, but that has also got a change to it in terms of how the grid's set up.
Yes, reverse goes from championship points. So if you had a bad race one or bad round run, now's your chance to get back to where you should be. Hopefully,
unless you weren't there. Unless you weren't there.
But it just so happens that one of the quickest drivers we've got will be coming from the back of the field. But we'll come to that a bit later as well. So we're coming to anything else about this track? Plenty of passing zones as well. But they're interesting passing zones. You have to work hard to get the pass done.
Exactly. It's not as clear cut as you might expect at, say, a street circle, or even, say, Interlagos, where it's very much you could set your car up for the pass at turn 1 by getting a good exit off of turn 12. At Barber, because of the undulation and because of the changing corner radius, you've got to really be smart and you've got to really commit at the right time. There is opportunities to, say, hug the inside at turn 2 and get through, or maybe even into turn 5 in the middle straight. But yeah, because of the way that the corners are set up, it's going to be tough to pass, even though it looks like there's plenty of opportunities.
Yeah. And then there's a couple of parts on the track that really bite you. That turn 19 chicane on the back straight there, you will see cars lose it there, get off the ground, get on all 4 wheels. It'll be spectacular viewing.
It will be. I'd be very surprised if we don't see at least one car in the firewall, as we have now out on track.
Well, that's convenient timing. Should we go to live action then?
Yeah, so practice is just finishing up. We've got about 2 minutes left. The order at the moment has Brendan Hobson on pole, coming back into the championship after his stint in the hospital, I think.
Yes, unfortunately from last week.
Last fortnight.
Yeah, last fortnight, yes. Getting a bit of a tyre change, I guess.
Yeah, bit of body maintenance. But he's currently got the quickest time, a 27 flat.
Ooh, boy.
Yes. Now, I was very proud of my 28.5 that I put in one of the practice sessions with the racing line turned on. So now I'm
on a controller.
On a controller, yeah. That actually in this game that's actually a plus. But 27 flat is quite quick. Second place at the moment is Lime Mitch on a 27.1, and then Brock Harvey on a 27.3. So those 3 guys are very tight at the very front end of the field. And then there's Termo and Cam Rutledge separated by 0.02 of a second, and then Mike Coulston a further 0.02 of a second back.
So pretty tight. We should probably mention as well, Lime Mitch has represented. Well, last time he raced, we talked about him being the Pink Panther, Pink Puma. Now in his livery.
Yes, that's been updated. It looks funny. I gotta say,
it looks something.
It's definitely something. It does look very, very pretty, and it's loud, man. It's such a cool looking car.
This is true. Hey, and the amount of pink cars I run in online sims, well, as Lime Mitch just put stop track. Well done, buddy.
Hey, it's practice. You can do that.
Exactly. I wonder if we're having a minor stream issue here. Well, practice is almost over, so we'll skip out for a minute. I'll see if I can get the stream issue sorted. Please wait 1 moment.
Classic Kiwi. Stream without some technical difficulties.
No, it wouldn't.
So while Chris is sorting out his technical difficulties, I guess I'll talk through the weight penalties that we have in preparation for the race. So as a way to performance adjust the drivers against each other throughout the series, you get you call it basically success ballast. So for winning a race, I believe it's a 17 kilo penalty, and then for second place, it's I think 7 kilos. The grid. They've actually got a system in place for weight breaks as well. So I think it is the inverse, or I think it's 15, 10, and 5 at the back end of the grid. So the idea is basically over the course of the season, the slower drivers get a bit of a boost, and the quicker drivers get a bit of an anchor to keep the competition as close and as exciting as possible.
I wish I had that in more series that I race, because people who
'Cause
know
you'd
me
need it.
race, I need all the help I can get.
Absolutely.
Alright.
You'd tank the first 3 races to get that minus 45 weight break, and then
Hey.
you'd be about mid pack for the rest of the series.
I don't need to tank. I'm just that not good.
That not good.
That not
Fantastic.
good. Alright, I hopefully have got my stream issues sorted and we'll stop dropping frames. Looks like we're coming out on track for qualifying. Let's go back to the live action as we have a bit of a moment there for Scott Murrell coming out of the pits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
Well, that's not what you want to start your qualifying session.
no, unfortunately my replay's now not working.
But now,
Technical issues are plenty. But
did you make sure to enter? Did you make sure to enter the race in the right way?
I'll let you know.
Brilliant.
I have now.
Just another quick thing before we get fully into it. I think we have the first.
Oh, there we go. Sorry to interrupt you. Just saw Scott Murrell clicking the pit wall as he left the pit lane there. So yeah, he did that. Not the greatest luck qualifying. Hopefully he hasn't damaged his
I can only go up from here.
Yeah.
Just a quick sidebar. I think this is going to be the first opportunity to see the Volkswagen on track. With Scott Morrow running the Repsol Volkswagen. Unless Rob ran a Volkswagen last fortnight and I'm just not remembering it properly.
I feel like he would. Yeah, he ran the Volkswagen last week.
Oh, there you go. So we'll have all 5 chassis on track today. The Mini, the Lancer, the Puma, the Volkswagen, and the Clio. We've got I think it's Gary Neville in the Renault Clio.
Yes, he is in the Clio, the Man Filters GNEV racing machine. Beautiful looking car too.
Odd color scheme, aqua and yellow. I didn't think it would work, but it looked too bad.
That little bit of white in between is all just sort of breaks it up nicely.
Very nice.
Yes. So yes, representation from all 5 manufacturers, and we've got 12 drivers here today.
Yes, so no, we've actually got 14.
14.
So an expansion on the grid that we had last fortnight. We are missing 1 or 2 drivers as well. I think is not here for this weekend. Oh, this week, sorry. I'm thinking Real Motorsport. I think Gary Neville is.
Scott Murrell will just run wide there coming onto the track. Looks like it's coming around at turn 8.
At turn 8, yeah.
Yeah. So there's first hot lap unfortunately ruined. Early times, Cam Rutledge has hit a purple in the first sector.
And before we talk about the sectors, we should talk about where they are situated on the track. To the left there. Sector 2 runs from that point all the way through to the back straight, just ahead of the chicane at turn 11 and 12. And then that takes you back from the start of Sector 3 through to the finish line. And that is your complete lap of Barber Motorsport Park.
Okay, so as to expected, Brenton Hobson, we knew he's going to be quick. He just hit a purple as well. Of course, my timing screen is not showing me the first place driver. Why is that?
That's because it is Termo who set a 128.5 to open up proceedings. Only 3 drivers have actually set a lap so far, and that's Termo, Mike Coulston, and Cam Rutledge. But a few of them are on green laps, and Brendan Hobson's just about to come across the line to finish his first lap, and let's see where it puts him.
Meanwhile, Scott Morrill and Lyman are having a bit of an argument over race position in qualifying.
Ooh, that was contact in qualifying. You don't really want to see that, do you?
Not particularly, no. Might be some afters after that one.
We'll have to see about that. Just quickly to wrap up on what happened to Brian Hobson. He set a very slow final sector, about 5 seconds slower than what he was aiming for. So maybe he's had an issue or something like that. Gone wide at the last corner, which is easier to do here because it, again, encourages you with downhill and extra space on the outside. Not unheard of.
Yes. So yeah, Scott Morrill's doing the wise thing here. I think he just backed it off a bit, try and give it some clean air as well. So yeah, Will Devonish has gone to the top at the moment, 128.1. Oh no, Turmo just hit it at 128.12.
Wow, some pretty quick times here, and it'll be important to get the times in.
And Luke Joyner's just gone ahead of him at 128.02.
Wow, this is going to be very tight. It's important to get these lap times in early as well because the tires, as I mentioned, will go off. So as the tires go off, you might see on laps 4 and 5, drivers just make mistakes or get the understeer through the first sector especially and just not be able to get that lap time in.
Well, Cam Rutledge has just taken it again, another 500ths off the top best lap in his Lancer.
Wow. The first one to break into the 27s, and then Brenton Hobson comes through with a 27.1 to just blow everyone out.
Yep.
Wow.
That's what we missed last week.
Yep, that's what Brenton Hobson can do.
What a lap. What a stunning lap that is. 28.4 in the first sector. No one's even close to that.
I don't think anyone else put in a 28 in the first sector. Oh, actually, that's a lie. Mike got a 28.6 in the first sector.
But Hobson he's going 28.3.
He's keeping on with it. He's got another lap to go after this as well that he can use.
Let's try and get him on screen. There we go.
Scott Morrill into second with a 27.6. The third of the drivers in the 27s. Purple sector 2 for Scott Morrill.
Okay, nice. Until Hobson and that beautiful Lancer, the Synergy Racing. That looks like a lead you actually find on your proper car.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too disappointed to see that on an actual race car, actually.
Oh,
so
as he drifts it through.
It's just overcooked it.
Yeah, I think that lap's going to be thrown away, but it's still 127.1. You'd think that'd stand.
That's pretty safe at this point. I don't see anyone getting close. Scott Morrill was on a quick middle sector, but did throw that one away. He's now finished. Cam Rutledge is finished as well with a 27.9. Mike Coulston has finished up his session with a 28.03, just behind Luke Joyner in a 28.02. They're very, very closely matched. It looks like everyone's coming up to their last sort of goes at it at the moment. And it doesn't look like anyone's putting in anything special, yeah. As we say that though, Hobson is on a 28.5, only 300ths away from his best first sector. So still on it quite a bit.
Yeah, he's just doing what he does. I love that back chicane there. They always just tend to come over it with at least one win in the year. It's fantastic.
It's a really... I can't get over how cool this track is. I can't imagine something like IndyCar, which does this routinely through this track. It just seems like they'd have to take off at some point because the elevation is just so dire. As you watch Hobson,
come here. That would be mad.
WEC.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, IMSA.
IMSA would be something else.
As Hobson sits, still within 500 of his best lap, just to show he's got more in him.
And I think he's the last one on track as he overcooks it coming out of the final corner.
Yeah, no. He's been disqualified.
Wow. What happened there? Well then.
That's going to put a spanner in the works. I'd love to know more about that.
Yeah, what? I'm confused. I have absolutely no idea what's...
I wonder if it's track limits because he was pushing it.
It could be something. It could be... I'm gobsmacked. Well, gone from the top of the grid down to the very bottom.
And in a sprint race too, we got to push hard over 15 laps to try and get that pace back. As
Yeah.
Joyner Brink is the last car on track, brings it into the pits now. So looks like we have Scott Murrell on pole at the moment with a 127.68. Lime Mitch in second, 127.85.
9,000th behind him.
Who just pipped Termo, who was 900th behind him.
Who just pipped Will Devonish, who was 200th. That mid-pack there, between Joyner, Coulston, Termo, and Rutledge. Rutledge, Joyner, Coulston, Termo, Devonish, and even down to Brock Harvey, it looks like a very, very tight cluster of cars there. And you could see anyone out of those 5 or 6 drivers get onto the podium at this stage, provided that Brenton Hobson doesn't come through the field and destroy everyone.
Which we know he likes to do.
Which we've heard he likes to do. We haven't seen it yet, but we've heard stories.
We have. On that note, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back in a moment. And we're back. Sorry about that. Technical gremlins aplenty tonight. But we'll persevere. It's what we do best, right?
It's what you do best.
So we're just in the last sort of warm-up as we just see Scott Morrill on stream have an absolute massive wipeout. He won't want to do that in the race.
Someone will. Guarantee someone will do that during the race.
Now, in this warm-up session, you had a quick liaison with the driver's briefing. What did you find out?
So I've just gone through the text chat to try and find out what's happened to Brenton Hobson, and apparently, as he's come past the pit X entry on that 5th lap, it's actually disqualified him for doing an extra lap. Apparently, that 5-lap marker is in-lap and out-lap inclusive. So as he's past the pit entry, it's gone, he's going to complete a 5th lap, pushing him onto his 6th, which means that he's exceeded the lap number and will be disqualified. So that's what's happened to him.
Oh. That's a shame.
Yes. It is quite a shame because he was, as we saw, pole by a good half a second. But on the flip side, it does mean we get to watch him fly from the back of the grid twice.
Yes, once in the shorter race. So this race coming up, it's going to be set to time, so 22 minutes. We expect to be about 15 laps unless we have the intervention of a safety car.
As we watch Scott Murrell go off at turn 11 again.
He's struggling with that section. He really is.
I think he's just trying to find the limit, because through there, it's downhill entry, a bump in the middle, and uphill on the exit. So you can't actually see the exit curb, and it kind of falls out from beneath you, quite literally. We'll see cars get air through there.
Yes, we will. What was my train of thought now? Oh yes, so this race coming up, sprint race, no pit stops, basically just go hard. 22 minutes later, check if that comes out.
Apparently there is a pit in race 1, a compulsory pit stop.
Okay, I thought it was just going to be 2 times fuel and tyres.
So did I.
Yes.
But yeah, in the text chat in the race, they are talking about an compulsory pit stop with a minimum of 2 tyres for race 1.
Okay, so that's very much your supercar sprint race type of format.
Yes, exactly.
So that makes it interesting. In a race of that length, would you go 2 tyres? Would you just go, the tyre wear's crazy here, gotta go 4? That'd be an interesting question we need to have answered, I think.
I think you could get away with 2 tyres on the front. The front tyre wear is much bigger, in my experience, than the rear because of the way that the corners kind of open out. So because you're bringing the throttle in generally a bit more gently to try and keep the traction for those wider corners, you're going to see the fronts struggle with understeer more than you're going to struggle with oversteer. At least that was my experience. So I would go for 2 at the front and not worry about the rears, but in the feature race, I'd probably take all 4.
I think in the feature race you have to. Double the length, double the stress.
Yes, definitely.
And unless you're really at the back, I don't see why you'd even contemplate taking that risk. So
it would be a Brad Jones type strategy, wouldn't it?
Actually, it would. And Brad Jones is the kind of maniac to actually try and do that in real life. So it looks like we're going to be gridding up here momentarily for this first race, 22 minutes. Slowly. You can see, here we go. So pole sitter Scott Murrell has just come out now, so he would be on pole, obviously. Lime Mitch in second in the Pink Panther 333. Third place, both grid spot 3, Cam Rutledge, the Lancer number 63. Fourth on the grid occupied by Luke Joyner in the LJ Race Engineering Mini. His teammate Mike Colston in the beautifully Greens Tough inspired Mini. Sixth place on the grid is Turmo, the Irwin Racing Lancer. Love that car.
It does look. It is a very good homage to the actual Irwin livery.
As we're away on the formation lap now, 7th place, Will Devonish in that absolutely fantastic, gorgeous livery as well. And Willett Racing in the Mini. Brock Harvey, the MHRT Brock Racing, Peter Brock inspired, obviously, livery. Cracker.
You gotta say Cracker. Yep.
Cracker. And the Cracker Fat Racing. Number 54, so 10th place on the grid, Gary Neville, the GNED Racing Clio. And then we get to the Brian Walsh in the Playboy Racing entry, number 27, in 11th place, the Puma. River Whisperer in 12th in the Lancer. 13th place is listed as Brenton Hobson. Have we lost someone already?
I think we might have.
Yes.
I'm trying to see who we're missing. But I'm not sure where they are.
Yeah, so we're already one down, unfortunately.
What a shame.
It's an absolute shame as the car's now coming around the back of the corner, the back of the track, warming their tyres. Oh, also just noticed there's a grid back there as well, so this Barber obviously has a number of configurations, as most modern tracks do. I'd love to go.
Sorry,
I'd
I'm
love to go.
I'm just
club
trying to
racing
figure
next
out
year.
who's missing.
Okay,
It would be really cool to go club racing here. Actually,
yes.
you just gotta fly over to America and to Alabama and
Survive
jump on. Yeah, that's a good point.
I won't do the accent because I got lambasted for it last time.
Deservedly so. Deservedly so. Yeah, I can't immediately work out which of the cars is missing. So it looks like we're going to have a 13-person grid up.
Yes, as we're coming around turn 14 and 15 now, coming back to the front straight.
It was Glenn Miles. It was Glenn
Glenn
Miles
Miles.
who's gone missing.
Thank you very much. It's a shame to DNF before the race even starts.
Yeah, a real shame.
As we're putting up now, Scott Murrell just putting up to his last grid spot. Give himself a bit of room there. Lion Mitch is actually ahead of him on the grid at the moment.
I wonder how much of an effect that's going to have on the run into the first corner. Could we see Lime Mitch get the whole shot there? As it looks like Rutledge actually overshot his grid slot.
Everyone else is in. Hobson's now in the last spot there, very close to the back of Numa. That's right from your hip sounds.
Yes.
And we're away.
And away we go.
Scott Murrell, very even start there between the pole sitter and Lion Mitch. But yeah, Scott Murrell inside line there into turn 1, takes it nicely. Looks like down the back we've got a bit of too wide action there as Turmo's on the outside of Luke Joyner, and Turmo's up to third. Great start by Turmo as well.
I think a better start from out of everyone from Brenton Hobson, who's already up to 8th position from a grid spot of 13th.
Ooh, as we see there, Cam Rutledge getting a little bit crossed up there as Hobson tries to force his way through. And Devonshire's going to have a piece of the pie as well. Yes, he is. So Cam Rutledge has dropped 5 spots at the start. That's far from ideal for him. In such a short
So
race.
as far as Hobson's gone up, Rutledge has gone down. It looks like everyone's gotten through generally okay, as it looks like Colton just got a little bit of oversteer at the exit there, and he's vulnerable through this fast chicane. And they make contact, Colton and Hobson. They both escape without going off track, but it has meant that Hobson is very vulnerable. Rutledge is on the inside of him, doesn't quite make the move, but Devonish, who tried to make the move there as well, loses out to Cracker, and it looks like everyone's just gonna get through the first lap.
Just about. Well, as we see Devonish go flying off the corner. Oh, Devonish is going to the pit.
Straight into the pits. That's actually not a bad strategy. Get out of the muck, run your own race, and stay out of everyone's way. But you are going to be struggling relatively with tyres at the end of the race.
And in a race like this, where there's, I'm guessing, a fairly significant chance of a safety car, it's a great camera angle. Automoblista, thank you for that. Alright, so he's in the pits. Keep an eye on him. I'm assuming he's 2 tyres. As
Back
we're
at the
pass
front,
the
though.
lead, yeah, Lion Mitch has just dove down the inside there of 5 and taken the lead. Great move.
He will be just a little slow coming out of that corner, and Morrow has taken the outside line. They're neck and neck now heading into turn 7. Can Morrow get around the outside? He does! He squeezes him in and takes the lead again.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think he's actually copped a penalty.
Oh, yes he has. What's going on there?
He's now down to 12th place. So
someone's off. I think that was... Where was that? Neville in the Renault coming through turn 7.
Yes, and he has retired from the race. Let's get that on replay, see what he's done here. So he's coming around into turn 5. See, now for an absurdly long replay time, right? I've got to get to it.
You'll find that sweet spot.
I will. So it looks like he's all by himself. Turn 6. Yeah, there we go. He's just lost it into the chicane. Oh, that's a massive accident.
Yeah, you can see why he DNF from that. Now, just back onto live action, Murrell got wide around turn 11, got onto the grass, got all out of shape and lost, I think, 3 or 4 positions. He's now down in 5th place, leaving Lime Mitch and Turmo out at the front of the field.
Meanwhile, Hobson is in the pits, as is River Rispera. and Cam Rutledge as well.
And I think Walsh as well at the tail of the field. So we've got a few different strategies coming through now. A lot of the guys in that mid-pack trying to get out of the mess and get into their own races.
Probably a safe strategy. At a track where the mileage is just so fine.
Yeah, exactly. And we've already seen a little bit of bump and grind from the front runners, so we wouldn't want to get involved in too much of that, especially with some of the walls where they are.
Absolutely. Oh, Light Mitch getting plenty of air over the chicane there. That's absolutely fantastic.
Madness.
Turmo's a good 1 second behind him here. Looks like we have an off there for Brock Harvey. Very late drive to the pits.
You're going to keep saying that the entire race, aren't you? You're going to assuming that they're going to be off and they're going to the pits.
It's just natural at that corner. I saw you spin in practice there.
Oh, don't bring this up.
If you want a reason why we commentate, that's why.
Yeah, because we're bad at the racing thing.
So Hobson's come out in 8th. He's 20 seconds behind Brock Harvey and closing fast because Brock Harvey's actually just in the pits. So this will be interesting to see where he comes out.
Yeah, Hobson is the leader of those who have pitted, followed by Rutledge and then Devonish, who are separated by a second, but Hobson has 20 seconds on the pair of them. So it is quite a gap from him to the rest. Is he going to come out ahead of Brock Harvey?
It's going to be tight. It's going to be real tight.
I think it's pretty safe in the end. Yeah.
Got him by about half a second, so yes. So
oh, back at the front of the field, it looks like Mitch has gone off at turn 8.
Cracker as well.
Turn 8's taken a lot of victims already. Mitch is
very damaged. Yes, he's done something there. Let's try and figure that out. So you're coming into 4. All good there. Let me guess. His crash is done at the chicane. He's done it at 5. At the chicane at 7 again.
I think it was between 7 and 8.
Let's have a look here. Yep, oversteer, tyres, crunch.
It is a pretty tight margin there, and Mitch has dived into the pits with a bit of assistance from the tyre barrier, which is none too surprising at all.
I imagine he's going to keep going though. Yes, he is.
So that leaves
Turmo
now at the just a little bit, yeah. That leaves Turmo now at the front of the field with Joyner in second place, about a second and a half behind. Then Scott Morrill immediately behind Joyner. Colston in 4th, and then Cracker in 5th. And that's the contingent of cars who have yet to make their pit stop.
So we have to keep an eye here on the gap between Hobson and Turmo, which is currently 25 seconds and closing, 30 seconds and closing.
Yeah, that it wouldn't surprise me to see Hobson be very far ahead of the field once those pit stops are done. I worked out the pit lane delta, and it is about 30-ish seconds. 30 seconds for fuel, and for tyres a bit less than. So it's not a small piece of the pie.
Okay then. Well, as Turmo drifts it through the final corner, that's 10 points from the Japanese judge, but I don't think it's really going to come with racecraft. And that's going to give Joyner a chance to catch back up and make it a fight again. I was going to ask you before that moment, if you're these front 5 guys now, what do? Do you keep going as long as you can and just hope you've got enough on Hobson and have fresh tyres at the end, or do you pit about the next 2 or 3 laps?
So we're about 7 minutes into the race. I would go until I do what I call the Shane Van Gisbergen strategy. I'd go as long as I could possibly go without losing significant time, and then come in, because the yield with fresh tyres is going to be significant. You will catch up on the guys like, say, Devonish and Rutledge, who took that early pit stop. But of course, you have to have the racecraft and the ability to make use of that those tires. It's no use staying out on old tires and sliding around every single corner and then coming out 25 seconds behind the tail of the field. You gotta find that sweet spot.
Speaking of racecraft, Hobson just hit his fastest lap of the race, a 1:26.9. So
That's not as quick as oh wait, a 26? Oh
26.9.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was as quick as you were thinking.
Yeah, that's crazy quick.
And it looks like Lion Mitch has dropped a lap as a result of his accident as well.
Yes, I think it's just to those who've pitted though, not to the rest of the field yet.
Good point. Very good point.
Mm.
There's things that
So we should start trying to see where these guys are going to settle in. So I said it was about 28 seconds to stop for the fuel and tires, but to transit the pit lane is about another 25-ish seconds because it's a very long front straight here. Yeah.
Well, Luke Joyner's in the pits now, so we actually can. If Automoblista gave me a decent terror that wasn't at the back of the paddock, we'd actually watch him in the pits lane. But yes, he's coming out now. He should come out. Yes, behind Brock Harvey. He might even come out behind Cam Rutledge, potentially.
He's going to come out in the middle of the Rutledge, Devonish, Coulston, Cracker debate, we'll call that. I was actually just out ahead of them.
Oh, yes, he is. That was a good pit stop by them. So, yes, this is probably the closest on-track battle at the moment. We'll keep an eye on the Hobson and see how he goes. What I've noticed about Brendan Hobson is his consistency. He can just bust out these 1:26.9s, 1:27.0s constantly.
Yeah, it's consistency and his pace.
I mean,
the fact that he can do 26.9 is I think it's a significant amount of his pace. It's just the fact that he is that quick.
Let's not forget that some of the guys race, they can do 20. They could do like blistering lap times on one lap, but they've been at every second lap and bloody,
Yeah, it would. Yeah, the consistency part of it is very much a big deal, and that's the difference between guys like, say, you and me, and guys like Brenton Hobson.
Yeah.
So now the top two are actually in the pits currently, Merle and Termo. So we will see a cleansing of the field with 11 minutes to go.
Pretty much what you said. We've just got eyes on Termo on stream now. We'll see where he comes out in relation to Hobson. And that sounds like
it's actually going to be closer than what I expected, but Hobson does get past relatively easily.
Yeah. Tell you what, Termo's going to be in danger of getting past with the Harvey as well. I know it's not. I started a bit of a dummy there, but no, they still getting used to how long that pit lane is.
It is quite long, yes. Murrell has actually dropped behind Luke Joyner,
yeah,
and
Murray's pitted.
He's going to drop into that Rutledge Devonish Cracker debate. He's come out right next to Devonish.
And he's hit Devonish.
A little bit of contact.
Keep an eye on this one.
In saying this, I don't think Devonish is going to have the tyres to be able to put up an extended fight. Because remember, Devonish pitted on lap 1, whereas Murrell is pitted with only 10 minutes to go, lap 8.
So I reckon turn 1 next lap would be his best bet now. Having just come through, coming up to that stupid chicane.
It's not stupid.
I mean, it's not stupid, but we've seen it claim a number of victims already today.
This is true. This is very true.
Actually, give you a bit of traction out of 8. You might even get him here into the high speed 9-10. Which is brave.
Just sneaks behind. He could have been brave to hold it on the outside, but he discretion's a better part of valor there. I think you'll be right. Turn 1 next lap is probably a safe-ish sort of spot to get it done.
Might be catch the corner like that and lose his time, he won't. Because one thing I've learned about this game. Oh, Jesus, the last corner. He's overdone it though. He's going to give that shit time in the end there to Demolition 14. Just got a bit too impatient.
That's exactly it. It's too impatient because now he's dropped a second or so behind, and he wouldn't be able to set up this move into 1. So yeah, it's something I mentioned. It looked like there's passing opportunities, but you've got to play the right card at the right time. On top of that, now because of how aggressive the tire wear here is, the edge is already going to start coming off the tires, and you're going to start losing that advantage a lot quicker than you would expect, say, than at Interlagos.
Yes.
So it wouldn't surprise me to see Murrell actually get stuck behind Devonish or Rutledge if he does manage to pass Devonish.
Also, I should mention we missed this on the stream. Mike Colston. We didn't see what happened to him, did we? But he's now retired from this race.
Oh, and Turmo's off. Turmo's position
off.
3. It's at the fast back chicane. It looks like he's cooked it on the entry.
Let's have a look here. Replay's coming up on screen now. So, yeah, so he actually handled the 7-8 chicane quite nicely. A bit wide on exit, but you know, we'll forgive him that. So coming up to the 9-10 brown pants corner, I'm going to call it. He got through there okay. And then at 11-12, this must be where we got it wrong. Yep. Just got too much air into 11 and harmless spin in the end, but not exactly ideal.
A harmless that dropped him 2 positions.
Yes.
Oh, and we've lost Rutledge as well. Rutledge just looks like he's DNF'd. I wonder what's happened there.
Let's see if we can bring that up on replay as well now. Okay.
Oh, last corner.
Yep, just heading last corner. Yep, coming up to the last corner now. Oh, not quite late now. What's he done here? He's just ran too wide and
cooked it. Absolutely cooked it.
That's small mistake, but big problem.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we're beginning to see at this track. That's something very... Because we mentioned the margins are pretty tight. We've seen 2 drivers go into the wall at the 8 chicane. And these are just small mistakes, and they're costing results, basically.
Yeah. Oh, looks like Devonish and Murrow are going to be in a bit of a scrap. Let's go down to there. Yes,
Still.
very much a scrap. 0.3 of a second.
Still very much a scrap. And Morrow's making that move up the inside of the last corner again. He doesn't quite get it done, though. And Devonish is able to hold the line, but he does get compromised on entry. So if Morrow gets a good run here, he could make the move into 1, but it doesn't look like the Volkswagen has the legs at the moment to make that dive. I think Morrow's identified that he's quicker through that last section, but that's not necessarily the best place as they make contact again in the middle of turn 2.
It just looks like he's getting better traction out of the corners as well. I'm expecting him to have a lunge here at 5.
Ooh, not quite. He is looking very impatient now, and that's the thing.
Yeah, he did a bit of Gizzy Morse code on the back of his bumper there.
Exactly right.
Now next 7-8 chicane, you would be mad to go around the outside there.
Crazier things have happened.
This is true, but no, I think he's put himself into line beautifully there.
And he's got a great exit here. The run is on, but he can't quite get up on the outside of Devonish. If he gets through here quick, he could set up a move into turn 11, but it doesn't look like Morrow has the exit speed that Devonish does through that section.
Just looking at the times, Morrow is much faster in Sector 1, but Sector 2, Devonish has just got them just that little bit quicker. And they make a bit of contact there.
And Morrow's going to get through. He does get through. Now that's brought Cracker right into the mix as well. Now Devonish is compromised from that exit. He's had to go to the inside line to be defensive. Is he going to be able to hold it on the inside into turn 1? He does. Cracker has to slot in behind. They all just put a wheel on the grass. And, Morrow's gone wide. After making that move, spending all that time behind Devonish, he goes wide in turn 2 and gives the move up. Oh, that would be the most frustrating thing in the world.
And now he's gone wide out of 3. He's compromised into 4 as well.
Cracker's going to have a dive here. He locks the wheels up, doesn't make contact. Very, very lucky there. Now Morrow's got the Morse code on the back of Devonish, trying to go around the outside to 7. This is all happening in this little pack.
What a
he
move!
Sweeps around the front into turn 7. Wow.
Wow. He's been trying to do it for a few laps, but he's finally got it done into 7. Great move. Great move.
Yes. And now that he's got a bit of room, I wouldn't be surprised to completely check out here.
Yeah. So now it's Cracker and Devonish, and with 3.5 minutes to go, can Devonish hold on that long? You reckon?
It'll be tight. It'll be tight as he just steps a little wide out of turn 11 and doesn't hold on for very long, no.
Wow. Wow.
Although,
I was going to say, give me into the sentence, but he's done it back.
He's got it back in turn 14, and Cracker tries to get through in turn 15, but can't quite make it stick. And after all that, we breathe.
Meanwhile, out front, Hobson's just checked out, 12-second lead.
Yeah. Nice and easy, basically. He's got a 12-second lead over Harvey, who's only got about a second over Joyner in... whereabouts are we? In third place?
Yeah, in third place. Teammates there.
Very cool looking cars.
Very cool looking cars. I don't think that'll be... That we'll see much change there. I can't imagine with 2 minutes to go that 1.5 seconds will be made up.
Not unless Harvey makes a mistake. I really... They have been pretty solid as Harvey gets a fair amount of air through that corner.
We have seen him make a monumental mistake in the last round.
Oh, speaking of monumental mistakes, Termo's off. Fourth position. He's off at turn 11. He looks like he did exactly the same thing as he did earlier. Cooked it into the entry, got sideways in the middle of the corner, and then couldn't control it.
Well, let's have a look here. So we're coming to the chicane nicely. The 7-8 complex. That is such an awkward corner to get right as well. 7 and 8.
Yeah, with the way that it drops in there.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he's through 9 and 10. So yeah, 11 now on stream. He's way too much. Very similar to last time. He just went a bit deeper off. Has he made the fence? Not quite.
But returning to live action, he is now in the clutches of Scott Morrill for the battle for 4th place. Now, both of these guys came in at the same time, so tyre wear isn't going to be a deciding factor. But with a minute left, and Termo making that big mistake, I wouldn't be surprised if Scott smells blood here.
It depends if he gets close enough to make a last-minute lunge, yes. But I don't know if he can get close enough in the 1 minute that we've got remaining.
I think getting stuck behind Devonish took the fire out of... Well, I'm not sure about took the fire out of, but it kind of has made him a little brash. Let's put it that way. Yeah. A little ragged under the helmet, a little hot.
And we have seen Termo get it wrong a bit this race, so you never know.
This is true. This could be a very tight battle coming as I think we start the final lap.
We do. Our leader, Brenton Hobson's just coming through 2 and 3 now. We'll get to him in a second. As Termo runs wide and spins it in the last corner. So there's that battle resolved. He's dropped down to 7th now. It is.
Oh wow, what a shame. That's
disappointing.
Yeah, no real words for that. It looks like the pressure just got to him, and
he's been struggling with the car all race.
Well, he did have the lead for the first part of the race before the pit stops, so it's only really been this last little bit as he's had the pressure put on him. Yeah, I think one mistake turns into 2 mistakes, and you start to lose your head. And there you go.
Doesn't take too much to look at your rhythm, especially in a track like this where rhythm is very important.
Exactly right.
Anyway, as we're watching here now, Brenton Hobson sprinting the field. He's 14 seconds ahead of Brock Harvey, coming through the second to last corner. Can just take it nice and easy. Around the last corner now. Our last of first victory after the disappointment from qualifying. Great result, great win. Brenton Hobson, well done.
Easy as you like. Easy as you like.
Yeah.
Up 13 places. What a race.
Yeah. Brock Harvey will come across the line in second. Just ahead of Luke Joyner in third. 1.2 seconds good of him.
Oh, Morrill's off. Morrill's off. In 7th place. He's gone off at turn 12.
Oh, geez. Okay. That's he's lost quite a few paces out of that then as well.
Yeah, because he was in 4th after what happened to Termo, as Devonish inherits that and takes it over the line, and he's gone off at turn 12, and big accident.
Alright, I just got it up on stream now. Let's have a look here. So he's coming into 11. Is this going to be the characteristic jumping? Yes, jumping. Oh yes, just got it wide and straight through the barrier. That was very violent. And he's shipped 4 positions as a result of that. He's just coming across the line now. Still managed to bring it home 7th. And his car is obviously very broken.
Very. River Whisperer brings home 8th. Lime Mitch, after his accident turn 8, comes home 9th. Just ahead of Brian Walsh, who's parked up at the exit of the last corner. Is he going to cross the line?
Brian. I know you're a playboy, mate, but you've actually got to play the game to finish.
If he DNFs there, does he get a DNF or does he get 10th place?
No points for DNF.
No points for DNF. So he does have to cross the line. He is still just sitting there. He must be waiting for Hobson. Oh, but Hobson's gone. No? He's still not crossed the line. And now he's gone.
All right then.
Well, there you go. That was race 1.
What did we see there, Flood?
So we saw Hobson dominate for one. And we saw a lot of little mistakes with big consequences.
Didn't we what? That chicane, not that 19 or that 11-12 chicane actually, that left right, took so many victims.
It took Tomo twice. It took Scott Morrill once, right at the very end, the last lap of the race, to drop from 4th position down to, I think it was 7th. He crossed the line. That's a very rough penalty for making a small mistake. But that's all it is. It is small mistakes around this undulating, at times bumpy, at times scary, at times blind circuit that can just absolutely take you apart.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like we're not going to have much of a delay here. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with you for race 2. And we're back. Just got a bit of a 10-minute session between race 1 and 2 for a bit of warm-up. In the meantime, let's have a bit of a chat to some drivers, shall we, Flo?
Yes, and we have second place and third place with us in the booth to start with. So we have Brock Harvey and Luke Joyner. Joyner's just deafened at the moment, but I'll talk to Brock. Brock, great race. How did you see that race from the seat of the car?
That was a little bit uneventful. It was hard work though, I can tell you. I got a pretty decent start, and I think I grabbed a couple of places off the start. Then Luke was pretty kind, going down into the Redback Spider on lap 1 and left the door open. And then after that, it was watched
Brock, Brenton run away. Did you?
Yeah, I did after the pit stops, but Scooter and Liam Mitch were having a bit of a battle, and I thought, I'm not going to get caught in this, I'm going to go in the pits. And then, Hobbo, I came out, he was just in front, and I know Hobbo, there's no point trying to match him, I was just hoping he makes a mistake, because I was never going to keep up with him, so all good.
So you mentioned that it was a tiring race. How physical is it to drive one of the cars around here?
It's bumpy, so depending on how physical your wheel is, it can be pretty hardcore. It's just the focus level through some of the corners, because you make a little mistake and it's game over. So, especially through the fast chicane and the last 2 corners, if you stuff up through there, you may as well just park the car, because it's not.
And we did have a few people actually do that as well. So, yeah, very well done. Good job keeping those little mistakes out of it. And congratulations on second place. We'll go to Luke Joyner, third place. How did you feel during that race?
I think Luke has had to nick off to the toilet.
But he undeafened himself to do that. Why would you do that? Okay, we'll talk to Brenton then. Brenton, welcome back to OZTAC. First race in the series, and a resounding win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much.
How did you see the race from where you were? Firstly, cracking start, by the way, from 13th on the grid up to, I think it was 8th after the first corner.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect, to be honest. I did a couple of practice starts and had no idea what I was doing, and they felt terrible, so I thought for sure that I'd sort of just go nowhere off the line. But a couple of guys checked up in front, got a few spots down to turn 1, drove around the outside of a couple of people the first couple of corners and had a bit of fun there. And no, it was good, a bit of beating and banging and door handle to door handle stuff, which is what this series is apparently supposed to be all about. So,
very much so. Yeah.
And no, it was good. I had a lot of fun, and the theory was just to get out of traffic early. I didn't want to pit at the end of the first lap because I didn't know if I'd get disqualified for that. Because you guys probably don't know this, but I get disqualified for everything.
Yes, we still get disqualified in qualifying.
Yeah, exactly. So AMS has got a bit of a thing with me where if something doesn't go wrong, it's a complete miracle. So I thought for sure if I pitted at the end of lap 1, I'd get disqualified for it. So decided to wait until lap 2 to come in and then just hope that the tyres held on. And the strategy worked out. We got past everyone in the pits. So nice and easy run to the finish.
Yeah, it looked very nice and easy. Congratulations on your win. I just want to talk about some of those lap times. A 26.9. What? How do you do that, honestly?
I've got no idea. I haven't driven the cars before until the warm-up tonight, so that's the first I've ever driven them, and they're awful. I hate front-wheel drive cars, and they are terrible off the bumps. They're just shocking, and they're so fast, so much faster than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be slow, to be honest, so I was a bit taken back by the cars. I really don't know. Just, get in, turn left, right, hit the brake, throttle, that sort of stuff. I mean, it's just,
It's easy.
I don't know. I like the track, though. I've driven here a few times before, even in AMS, and I do like the track a lot, so that probably helps.
Yep, fantastic. So next race coming up, 45-minute race, compulsory pit stop. Do you see yourself coming from the back of the grid again? Do you reckon you can do it?
I was told that I'd be starting at the back, so I mean, if I can do it in 16 laps, I'm sure I can do it in 30, whatever we end up doing here. So I've just got to stay out of trouble. There's a couple of corners here where the car will just pitch you straight off the road if you get it not even wrong. So a couple of chicanes here that are a bit nasty. So you just got to be lucky a bit, be sensible, not push too hard, and try and look after the tyres a bit across the long race. So I'm sure we'll be fine. Hopefully we don't bin it, and nothing goes horribly wrong with the curse, and we pick up another win.
Fantastic. Well, good luck, and congratulations again on race 1.
Thanks, guys. Have a good call.
Thank you. We've also got Will Devonish here just quickly before we head into race 2. Will, cracking battle at the end there. How were you surviving on those tires?
Not well. It was fine to turn left, but turning right was a nightmare.
Yeah, it looked it. Because you pitted on the end of lap 1, didn't you?
Yeah.
So what was the logic behind that strategy? Was it
Well,
just getting out of trouble?
Yeah, everyone was all bunched up, so I thought if I get some clean air, I can just circulate and do some good laps. But I think I came out in traffic, so it didn't really work.
Yeah, it looked like you were struggling at the end there, but everything kind of fell your way at the very end, with Termo making that mistake, and then Scott Murrell also making a mistake. Do you feel lucky after a situation like that?
A little lucky, but it's racing pretty much.
Yep. Just finally, the weight penalty from race 1. How much of an effect does that have on the way you have to drive the car compared to what you were doing in Interlagos? Is it noticeable?
It is a bit noticeable, especially with the hills around here. But I feel some of the dips in this track, the weight actually helps a bit to get the power down. So
interesting.
It can't climb a hill, but it can turn pretty well.
And can certainly drop down a hill.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on your 4th place, and good luck for the next race.
Thanks, mate.
So that's all the drivers that we've had come by the booth. I think warm-up is meant to be coming to a close soon.
Looks like it. We've been running about 10 minutes. Cracker's the only one who's actually set a lap time.
Interesting. We have Brock here. Brock, what's the plan?
Just getting the guys to do. This is their warm up essentially because we're not running a qualifying session.
Yep.
So that will just sneak ahead into the warm up session, then the grid will be set, and then we go again.
Fantastic. Well, in the meantime, we'll take a quick break here, and we'll see you ready for the start of race 2.
Welcome back. We're about to start race 2. Looks like everybody's just finishing up their warm-ups. This race a bit longer, 45 minutes. We're definitely going to see a difference in strategies here. No one's going to come in the first lap, are they? That'd be mad.
No, not at all. With the tire wear as dire as it is, I would be surprised if we see people pit before the 20-minute mark, honestly. Reason being that, yeah, as I mentioned at the very top of the show, you are going to lose so much by having rough tires at the end of the race. We even saw just in that previous race, that sprint race, the likes of Devonish struggling at the very end. So I don't think this will be very much a strategy dictated race. It'll be down to, I think, mistakes and that sort of stuff.
Excellent. Now, I'm going to bring up the current points positions because this race is set on the inverse of points.
Yes.
So we'll work backwards here because we don't have a fancy grid. We're not, hubbing this. But so it looks like we're going to have Ryan Walsh starting. He's here today. He'll be starting on pole. His teammate starting next to him in second place. third on the grid, River Whisperer.
So, just quickly,
Mhm.
Glenn Miles doesn't appear to have returned to the lobby, but River
Okay.
Whisperer is, so he'll
Okay.
start from second.
We also have Mike Holston
Yep, so that'll be third position
Yep.
on the grid.
with Brock in fourth. Cracker in his beautiful new Lancer in fifth, no longer a privateer. Luke Joyner brings sixth. No Ozrob tonight, so Lime Mitch in seventh. And Will Devonish in eighth. Then behind them will be all the drivers who did not participate in round one.
Yep, exactly right. And they include Scott Morrill, Cam Rutledge, and Brenton Hobson. So I'm not sure on how exactly they're going to be gridded up, but those three will be at the back behind all of those who appeared for race one.
Go on, put Hobson at the back. We know what he can do. Give him a challenge.
Yeah, I would say just based on the first race's results, do Rutledge, Morrill, Hobson. See,
Right.
that'll create an interesting race.
It would. So we're still going here with practice. We're looking at Mike Holston on screen at the moment.
We are just waiting for one or two of the drivers to return from a little bit of a, I guess you'd call it a nature break, as they say in cycling.
Yes, indeed. We are currently just looking... Well, we're about to get going, I think.
I think we just have skipped ahead to the warm-up. A few people are asking some very interesting questions about tyre strategy, just quickly.
Mhm.
Hobson asking, can you do right side only or left side only? So
Yeah, well...
if you wanted to take a time advantage through the pit stops, what would you take for tyres if you had to take two tyres?
Place like this, I would take the working side. Problem is, I don't know what the working side is because there's 8 left and 8 rights.
I would say, based on the difficulties of, say, turn 2 and 3 and turn 8 and 12, 13, 14, I'd say the left side is the working side of the tyre.
But at the same time, though, I would just take 4. Your
Yeah,
front tyres are going to cop an absolute battering.
Yeah, I would take 4 as well because I'm soft. Like the tyres.
Oh dear
As
God.
tumbleweed just floats across the screen.
Yeah. Where's the klaxon? Wow.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. We're still waiting on a couple of drivers, I presume.
We have started the warm-up, so we will be going in 10 minutes, regardless of whether or not these people are here. So it looks like we still have Hobson in the booth with us, deafened. So yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with him.
Yep, well,
And Brock's also in the booth as well.
Yep. It looks like we're just going to sit here for 10 minutes. So, what else can we chat about?
Something I forgot to mention from the last race that we could chat about. We mentioned the weight penalties, but there is actually a marker on each of the windshields of the cars of their weight penalty or brake for each of the cars.
There is.
So if you are watching and you do see a number in the corner of the screen, that is actually the weight adjustment. Red is for added and green is for subtracted.
Yes, I'm going to see if I can find a example image here that I can actually put on stream, but I don't think I can, unfortunately. But we'll just run through how it works. So if you win a race, you get 17 kilos added on. If you win both races in the weekend, you don't get any extra penalty. It's set to that maximum weight. So if you win both races, still that 17 kilos.
Yep.
Then you second and third as well. If you come second and third in the race, you also get a little bit of a weight penalty, which is how people like Luke Joyner ended up with 7 kilos. As well, if you happen to come last, you get a bit of weight taken off. Best weight loss strategy in the world.
One that will work for you.
Got to get rid of 120 kilos, so you said it.
Oof.
No, oof.
So yeah, the idea is that because this is meant to be a touring car, kind of close contact, bump and barging, which we have seen, to be fair, for the first 3 races of the season, you want everyone to be as closely matched as possible. So a little bit of a performance adjustment does make it, I think, a little bit nicer for everyone to get involved.
Well, in a series like this, where ultimately, yes, they want hard racing, but they want it to be fun and enjoyable as well.
Yeah, exactly right.
Just makes it a bit more. No, I could do that sound effect. But it just makes it a bit more fun.
Yes.
So what?
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you. So obviously we've got a bit more time to kill, so a bit more padding. You've seen this track for the first time, pretty much in this game, right?
Yep.
Where does it rate amongst your favourite tracks? Not counting the monuments like Bathurst, Spa, Adelaide.
I was waiting for you to include that. I would have to see a real race before I make a judgment, because it's one thing to produce great racing in a video game, but it's another thing to produce it in a sim, a racing sim. It's another thing to produce it on an actual track. But it does look like a lot of fun for the most part. I'm not I'd have to watch a real race to be sure, but I want to watch a real race.
So do I. So do I.
Yeah, it's just a matter of trying to figure out what's there and what I can watch.
IndyCar. Is it IndyCar when they race here? Watch Scott Dixon absolutely streak the field.
Oh, you and your bloody Kiwis. We need an embargo on you talking about Kiwis.
We're not doing the
Can
podcast
we do that?
here. We're not doing the podcast here. We can talk about Kiwis all we want.
Oh no, what have I done? Okay, as far as tracks in America, I'd probably put it behind VIR because I just love VIR. That's in my top 3 tracks in the world, I think.
Mm-hmm. This is almost like a mini VIR.
It is a
way.
bit. It does have the crazy chicanes, which is awesome. It does have a roller coaster type section with that turn 8 little complex. I wanna say that I love it, but I'm not sure that I do yet. I'm not ready to commit.
And that's why you're single.
Ouch.
Sorry, I had to. I think like Virginia as well. It's like a privately owned resort type thing that they're having to race on as well.
I need to get enough money to buy myself a racetrack resort.
Yeah, don't we all? But yeah, IndyCar races there, bikes race. Oh, motorbikes around here would be nuts.
That would be terrifying. I need to see this.
And yeah, Grand Am race here for 10 years from 03 to 13.
Right before I started getting into Grand Am. Damn. I think some of the IMSA series race here as well. I'm pretty sure they do GT3 Porsche Challenge America here, and Prototype Challenge, which is the P3 category. But the IMSA series itself doesn't. So yeah, there was a bit of discussion. I listen to a podcast called This Week in Sports Cars, run by Marshall Pruitt and Graham Goodwin. Someone actually asked.
Listen to if you don't already.
It is a pretty good podcast. Not gonna lie, we'll give them a nice little plug. Someone asked on their show a few weeks ago, why doesn't the IMSA series come to Barber? And Marshall Pruitt, for those who don't know, is a pretty well-known name in the American racing scene. He ran an IndyCar team for a while, and is now a journalist on IndyCar and on sports cars. And he said that he actually doesn't like this track that much. He doesn't think it would be suitable for IMSA, which of course is multi-class sports car racing, because the way that the corners are, we've talked about the opening and closing radius corners and having to be very committed to a move. He said that wouldn't be conducive to being able to race through traffic. Now, what do you think about that?
I can see his point, because if you're in a DPI stuck behind a GT3 car, you're going to be stuck behind them for a fair bit of time if you get them, say, coming out of turn 5.
Yeah, and it's not only turn 5. If you think about the speed difference of these of a prototype car, which is downforce driven, versus the GT car, which is going to have amateur drivers in it for a start, and it be as much more based on mechanical grip. Coming up into turn 9 and 10, it's going to be quite difficult and quite touch and go on whether or not you can make a pass through there if you're side by side, because it might be something like the Porsche curves at Le Mans, where the prototypes can get through there flat, but the GT cars have only one line, and so it would be a difficult place to race prototypes and GTs at, I think.
But having said that, I prototype only race like a P3 Cup, or P3 field of races,
or just a GT3 race, a GT standalone race.
Oh, that'd be amazing fun.
It would be pretty cool.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it sounds, at least from what Marshall Pruitt said, that that's not in the plans for IMSA, just because of the already stacked series. By the way, if you don't watch IMSA, it's pretty great racing. Just give their caution rules a miss. They are very long caution.
I love the way we've just turned this into an impromptu endurance chat podcast.
That's what we do. By the way, you should listen to endurance chat.
Yes, you should.
While we're talking about other stuff, we might as well plug our own podcast.
Plural, Supercar Chat too.
Yes, this is true.
So
I hope the people organising the series don't mind us just kind of talking about our own stuff.
Well, Brockton here to yell at us now.
Not at all.
Good eye.
As long as you get the host of the Short Shift podcast on at some stage.
Hey! Oh wait, is that yourself and Nether do Short Shift?
Yeah, that'd be me and Nether. I think I started a few years ago. Nether came on last year. Brody's been on it. Pascal Knights has been on it. The Steeg, Chris McIver's been on it. So
wow.
Nice.
So what do you talk about in Short Shift?
We just covered the main stuff, really. We did the karting series that we were looking after, and supercars, Formula One, all the good stuff. We pulled the pin on it this year just because of lack of time, but it may come back in a new format.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds like something I might want to listen to if you ever start kicking it up again. Do like a good all-around sort of motorsport experience.
We try.
Good news. The 10-minute timer is done. We can finally get around to setting the grid for this 45-minute race.
Bad news, it looks like Cam Rutledge has been removed from the server because of a mismatch in his vehicle, I think.
So we're down to 11 cars?
Yes, 11 cars. That's really disappointing.
Would be because Cam and River were running the same car.
Aha.
Okay.
So Cam will
Would he
come
be
back.
Would he be able to join back in a different car?
I think we've just reverted back to warm up so we can get in. So
Okay, fantastic. That would be a real shame to get kicked from the start of the race after waiting the 10 minutes because of your car choice.
yeah, it's no fun.
Okay.
It's funny. We created about 50 spare cars and they chose the same one.
They chose the same one.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I do actually like quite a few of the spare cars you've made. I was running which one was I running? I was running the Red Bull Racing Volkswagen for a few test laps earlier today. That one looks really, really pretty.
Now, did that actually have a Red Bull livery? Because when I was watching you, it just said temp on it.
Oh, that would have been because I joined after you did. So
Okay.
you didn't get to see my glorious spin in full.
No, I saw that. I saw your glorious spin. But what you're saying is it's my fault, as always.
Yes, that's absolutely 100%. Cam Rutledge is back in the server, so we should be ready to go very shortly.
Woo! As long as we don't have to wait for another 10 minutes of padding, because I don't know if I've got that in me.
No, we should just kick this along pretty soon.
Sweet.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey.
Yes, thank you very much. Hopefully Brenton gets back into it because he's still saying that he's muted and deafened in this channel and not the race channel. So
that's just who we be. Also, is Brenton starting last?
That's the plan.
Excellent.
brilliant. Make him work for it.
When you're as good as Hobbo, we got to make life a little bit more difficult for him sometimes.
So just give him an immediate 40 kilo weight penalty. 50 kilo?
If I was supercars, I might be able to make rules up on the run, but we kind of stick to what we've done.
Ooh,
Ooh.
throwing shade.
Well, we'll be talking.
Speaking of, that's actually very topical at the moment because of the recent changes again to the Mustang homologation.
Oh yeah. We'll be getting to more of a supercar chat as the grid is now lining up. But yeah.
No, he's been kicked again.
So yeah.
God knows.
So yeah, the Mustang era.
Oh yeah, okay. I guess we'll turn this into an impromptu supercar chat. Yeah, I think something needed to be done, but all of this is just showing how not robust the supercars parity homologation system is. But it looks like we're just going anyway.
Looks like we're just going up. Bother it.
Yeah, we're gonna run.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna run? Okay, well we're gonna run. So we'll leave Supercar Chat for another night this week, which you can check out on Podbean if you want to listen to podcasts. If Short Shift ever gets restarted, we'll make sure to plug Brock's Short Shift podcast as well.
Our history is available on Podbean if you want.
Well, there you go. You can check out another podcast.
We're rolling for our formation lap here. So yes, as we mentioned, Brian Walsh starting on pole, both teams having no points so far in the championship. This sounded really harsh, didn't it?
Ouch.
River Briscoe will be in second. Mike Holston in third. Brock Harvey will be in fourth place off the grid.
Flashing the lights at us.
Yep.
Have a good race, Brock, and we'll see you at the end.
Thanks, guys. Have a good call.
He'll get a nosebleed. He'll get a nosebleed from starting that bike. There's Cracker in fifth. Luke Joyner coming out of P6. Lime Mitch will be P7. Alongside him will be Will Devonish.
Championship leader.
Brenton Hobson will be starting ninth.
Ooh.
So it looks like they've done this on how they actually finished race one. Turmo starting in 10th. And Scott Murrell starting at the tail end of the field in P11. And that beautiful Repsol liveried Volkswagen Scirocco.
That just reminds me of motorbikes. I can't get over that livery. Just quickly, Turmo in 10th? Something isn't quite right there. Because Turmo is, what, we say second in the championship?
Yep.
Oh, wait, no, hang on. Turmo hasn't got any championship points, which is weird, because we definitely saw him at the beginning of last week. Oh, he had that crash on lap 1, didn't he? He had that crash on lap 1 and then didn't come back for lap 2, race 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Shouldn't he have 0 points then and be at the front of the grid? I don't know.
Hey. If they made this easy for commentators, we know, but it'd be no fun.
That's a good point. And we'd have to make up more stuff and talk about our own projects more. And no one wants to hear about that, do they?
No. Oh, it could be worse. I could start singing.
Oh, let's not do that. No. So 45 minutes should be around 25-ish, 30-ish laps, I reckon. About a 90-second lap. And they're just coming up onto the grid now.
Yep. Let's see if they can get how they form it. Oh, Brian Walsh is a long way back from his pit stop there.
He's basically in in grid slot 2, grid slot 3 rather.
Yeah, Mike Holston's giving him. There he goes. On you, Brian.
Hey. Everyone's giving themselves a lot of room at the front of their boxes, it looks like. Once you get down to, it looks like Joyner and Lime Mitch are right on the edge. Devonish is sideways in his box. What's going on there?
I'll tell you in a sec because we're going to start the race. And we're away for race 2 here. Great start from the Lancer of River Briscoe there. Terrible start by Brian, unfortunately. He's being swamped off
They're
the
going
line.
5 wide and there's contact.
There is contact.
And it looked like Cracker in the middle of the field made contact with Joyner, but they all managed to stream through turn 1 and 2 onto the exit of turn 3, and at the moment it looks like everyone's through safely.
Still banging panels though.
Yeah, well, it looks like a mess as you get through the middle as Walsh locks up into turn 5, gets through the inside of the corner, and manages to get out the other side.
Hobson there has had a bit of a banging of panels with Whisperer.
Remember how you said he had a great start? Look where he is now. As there's more contact in turn 7. It looked like that was Devonish and Cracker through the middle there. As Devonish has got the inside line for the fast chicane on Brian Walsh. They're going to try and get through there side by side. No, Walsh backs out, and he backs out quite a lot, actually.
Meanwhile,
as Harvey's off.
Brock's Harvey's had a moment there. That's very high-speed moment.
Oh, and Walsh has to go into the grass to get past him, and they both managed to sneak through. Mitch was sideways through turn 12. What's going on with this race? I can't keep up.
All right, I'm going to check this Brock Harvey one on replay, see if we can get what happened here. So coming through as a cone gets thrown at him. Yeah, just a twitchy moment coming in through the chicane, and very lucky there that he didn't get cleaned up with a Playboy Puma.
Very lucky.
Very bad.
Yeah, and great work from Walsh to get around the outside there. Back onto live action, and Hobson, starting from the back of the grid, is already up into 4th position, just passing Devonish, who made that pass down the main straight. But Devonish is coming back at him into turn 5. He doesn't quite get the move done, and actually drops a bit further back, which allows Hobson to get ahead and move on to chasing down Cracker.
Only a matter of time before Cracker gets past as well. Hobson's already taking a good look through the chicane here, the downhill chicane.
And he's got the run, it looks like. Is he going to be able to hold it? He's not quite going to be able to hold on the outside through the fast chicane. But
yeah, not this early in the race. You've got 42 minutes left to go to the 3 spots. Don't push it this early.
Exactly right. 42 minutes is a long time, and it only takes one mistake to end up in that. Quite a lot of time. Speaking of one mistake, Corsten goes off and swings back onto the racetrack and makes contact. It looked like he made contact with Hobson there, but there's still cars going off left, right, and centre through that tail end of the section.
Channeling my inner Mark's going, this race has gone off. I'm going to go back to see what happened with Colston, because that was a big moment. So we're coming through here, what looks like the 910. Oh yeah, he's just oversteered. I don't know if there was a bit of lag there, because I swear he went through Hobson's car.
Better to go through it than to make contact with it, I'll say.
That's true. That's very true.
Back into live action, Cracker and Hobson are still fighting over what is now 2nd place as Hobson dives down the inside into turn 5. They both lock up their front wheels, but Hobson does get it done.
Great move. As he just said, a 128.3 that last lap.
They're really kicking on at the front of the field. Joyner as well, he's kind of been out the front away from everything, which has been perfect for him. But now Hobson is on his back wheel, and I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't stay like that for long.
No. If you're Joyner, do you sort of just let Hobson go?
I think we saw last race that if you let Hobson go, you won't see him again. So I would try my very darndest to make it as difficult as possible to pass. I wouldn't say like run him off the road or anything, but just make that Mini a clubman instead of a Cooper.
Make it a rally raid car, a rally raid car.
Exactly right.
Has Brian Walsh pitched, or did he just have an incident?
I think he's just had an incident.
Okay. Yeah, that's our pole setter, unfortunately. Bring up the tail. 128.1 from Hobson.
Wow. And that was in response to a 128.4 from Joyner.
He tries to stuff it around the outside of 4. He's got the inside of 5. He should get it done here. Under brakes. Although Joyner's hanging out there with him, not giving it up without a fight.
And holds on to the inside line for the next set of corners. So Hobson is going to have to close the door here if he wants to get it done.
He's got to run. He's got to run on him. But no. Not that brave under brakes, and frankly...
No. In the background, we just saw Cracker spin wide, and he's gone backwards into the gravel trap. Oh yeah, it looked like he just overcooked it into the entry of the corner and ended up backwards, heading down the hill.
I'll put it up because it looks like we've got a Devonish and Co. battle is going to rage. What's happened here? I wonder if he's had help.
It doesn't look like he had help. It just looked like they were trying to go 3 wide into that corner.
Three into one doesn't go. Yeah, he just lost it on the change of elevation there, which will put pay to his race for now. Meanwhile, at the front, Hobson having a look into turn 1 here on the inside, and he's going to get the move done relatively easy in the end.
Yeah, it only took 4 laps for him to make it through the field. He did set a 28 flat on the last lap as well, just for good measure.
Can't break it. Get into the 27s. Go on.
27s, get into 26s. I want to see more 26s.
So yeah, that's really, really hot pace at the front. And Hobson, we should, all bets being equal, should just now see ya.
And he's already pulled out half a second quite easily. Battle for third at the moment. The remnants of that Devonish, Mitch, and Cracker battle. After Cracker's made that mistake, it has just gone to that little squabble of 3. Devonish goes a little wide on the entry of turn 8, and he's left the door open for Mitch to try and come up around the outside, but Mitch doesn't quite have the run on him. But that could change as they come through the fast chicane. It doesn't look like... It looks like they're all going to hold stations, and huge air through that section from all 3 of them. Yeah,
I reckon Murrell's a danger here. I reckon he's eyeing up Line Mitch anytime soon.
I think Morrell's in
Whoa,
danger.
There he goes.
Oh, there's contact there as well. Mitch just manages to hold on to it. Oof. You could very easily find yourself wrapped up in someone else's accident if you're one of these 3. Because they're that close and there's that little margin for error. And it was even... Oh, there's a yellow flag in turn 1. What's going on? Hobson's gone off.
Hobson's gone off?
He's gone off in turn 1.
Ooh, he just hit the 127.4 as well.
Yeah.
Maybe,
wow.
So it looks like he's been pushing needlessly. Let's check on the replay now. He's just coming across the start, but it's fine. Did he just overcook into turn 1?
Yes, it looks like it. He looked like he missed the apex.
Ran wide, and he
did he make contact with the wall?
Very significant contact with the wall too.
Ouch. Yeah, that car does not look pretty. He's back in 9th now, all the way at the tail end of the field, and he might have to make an extra pit stop in order to fix.
He's just run off at 5 as well.
Oh no. Could this be the end of Hobson in this feature race?
Hobson's hob off. I forced that one too much. Yep, he's done.
He's done, wow.
He is done, and Mike Holston's also done. So
what's happened there?
Just like that, we've lost... Let's see if I can... No, I can't go back far enough to see anything from Hobson, unfortunately, from Holston. But yeah, 2 cars out of the race. The race leader, the guy who for all money was going to take the second race in a canter, has unfortunately fallen down.
That's motorsport for you sometimes. It only took one mistake.
Meanwhile, Lime Mitch is all over the back of Scott Murrell, who's all over the back of Devonish.
That's actually just all swapped around. Mitch actually made the pass on Devonish, then went wide, and then got overtaken by Murrell as well. So these guys are still going at it for now what is 2nd place.
Coming in 2.5 wide in turn 5. That's brave.
The gaps between them are almost insignificant, let's be real here. They're basically rubbing up against each other as they go, again, 2.5 wide into turn 7, dropping down the hill. It looks like Devonish has checked everyone up there, and is that going to give someone an opportunity to go through on the outside? Murrell looked like he wanted to, but didn't quite get the run.
Oh no, he's hanging in there. He's hanging in there.
Side by side through the fast S's. Murrell has to get out of it, which leaves him vulnerable to Mitch. Mitch comes through heading into turn 11. Can he hold it on the inside of turn 12? Now, Murrell's on the inside. They're trying to go side by side. All of this is just giving Devonish a little bit of breathing space. Murrell does get through on the apex of turn 14. Can he hold it through the last corner? Yes, for now. But Mitch is on his tail. They're coming back down the straight, and it's a drag race into turn 1 again.
Where Lime Mitch has the inside here, but he's got... Oh, no, he's been outbroken there. So Scott Murrell has finally maintain that position ahead of him in third place.
For now.
For now. But this is electric battling.
It's lively stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're Lime Mitch, would you consider pitting this early? Or too soon?
Oh, no way.
As he goes to the inside of 5 again, sorry to interrupt, and he gets the move done this time, bit of contact on exit. Murrow's trying the over-under, and looks like he's going to be successful on that as well.
Side drafting,
Fantastic
bumping
racing.
against each other. They're still bumping as they go into turn 7. And Morrow manages to hold on around the outside and tap position. This is lively stuff. To answer your question, I still don't think you can pit this early, but man, I wouldn't want to see them pit this early if they're going side by side through the fast chicane again.
Boys! God.
There's half an hour left. What's going on?
There's only half an hour of the race to go. Thanks, Heidi.
Oh, it's still close. Neither of them can really break the elastic band between them as Mitch tries to go around the outside. Morrow takes a shallow line, but Mitch dives through in the last corner. And does he make the move stick? He's got it. He's just ahead.
Watch your Volkswagen's traction off the corner, though. I reckon he's going to come back again down the outside. Oh, no!
Nah, Mitch has got the legs, but he breaks so early into turn 1. Morrow gets a wheel on the grass, but can't hold that inside line. So Mitch has taken that position, but for how long?
3 corners.
3 corners? You're saying into turn 5?
Yep, turn 5. Oh, he's actually dropped off a bit, yeah?
By dropped off a bit, we mean a whole 3/10, guys.
Yes.
3/10 is the gap.
But, I was going to say the elastic's broken, but he's right back into his backside, so...
I think this has allowed Devonish to get away. Devonish has got a second on this pair now, but it has meant that these guys are even falling into the clutches of Turmo, who's only a second behind.
Whoa,
Ooh,
Mitch had a big moment. Had a massive moment there. And Murrow unable to capitalise on that, but oh boy, that could have been race-changing, race-ending stuff there for Mitch.
And remember, he did that in race 1. He got sideways in turn 8 and hit the wall on the inside. So, again, small mistakes, big consequences. He was very lucky to get away with that one.
And that one too, as he gets all 4 wheels off the ground, coming through that fast chicane there.
Morrow is going to look to the inside again here through turn 14. He does favour that shallow line as Devonish just ahead fishtails it through turn 14. Yeah, the way that these guys are going, they're all going to be a group of 3 again, and just like that, before you know it, they all are.
It'll be a group of 4 as well. Turmo's raging on them like a ball on a red rag.
Yeah, well, if you're seeing the cars in front of you going that hard at it, all you're thinking is, oh, they just need to make a little bit of contact with each other, and I'm in here.
He's trying to do a Bradbury, which is appropriate. There's a Bradbury movie coming out soon.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't know that. That'd be a great movie.
Yeah,
anyway, back to the racing.
As we see turn 5, Devonish locking up a little bit, and as Lime Mitch gets into, I'm not sure if that was actual on track or just a bit of lag, but it's given.
It looked on
Murrow,
track.
Yeah,
Murrow's got the outside line. Yeah, it looked like there was proper contact there because Devonish had to check up in the middle of the corner. Murrow's not going to find a way around the outside in turn 7 this time, and Mitch is very conservative this lap. But with that little mistake from Devonish, it has closed everyone up again, and Turmo is lurking in the background like a bull with a red rag, as you said.
So, I think that's the metaphor. I noticed we've got Brenton in the chat. I might have a chat to him later when this battle settles down, if it ever settles down.
If it ever settles down, yeah. As Mitch gets the inside line out of 12, they're coming through 13 now. Morrow's taking the outside line for a change. Mitch makes the move, does he? He gets the inside for turn 14, but he's on the outside of 15. And Devonish holds station, but he had to take a shallow line down there onto the main straight, and now Mitch has the legs. Is he going to be brave into turn 1?
Yes.
Oh!
Too brave, he's gone off track there, but he's going to hold it. Holy hell.
There's a lot of contact there. Now Devonish has been pushed wide. Murrow's on the inside. They're still rubbing panels, and Devonish has been ousted down into 4th place. Murrow's got to run on Mitch here as well, and takes the position, takes second. Does he? Not quite.
Yeah, he'll get the traction out of the corner though.
And he does, and that does put him into 2nd place. Mitch is now vulnerable to Devonish, who chases the outside line as Mitch covers. can he get around? Not quite. Mitch does very well there to just hold Devonish up as they all swap around again.
His turbo now right on the back of them as well.
Yeah, this has been a madhouse with 15 minutes into the race, 30 minutes left to go, and these guys are still like they are lined up on the grid.
Three wide.
As you are, 3 wide into turn. They all drop down. Devonish. Oh, is that a little bit more contact?
Like a little bit of rubbing. While all this is going on, Joyner's just got a 5-second lead out front, just going, yeah, you boys do this. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, there was almost contact there between Morrill and Devonish in that last corner. I think Morrill had to step out of it, which means Termo is actually going to be fully in the mix here. He's now going around the outside into turn 1. Does he hold the outside?
Ooh, line Mitch is off. Line Mitch is off. Line Mitch is at a massive victory. Yeah.
It was coming, wasn't it? It was always coming. Someone was going to make a mistake, and it looks like... And Mitch was ahead of it as well. He had everything behind him, and it looks like he just switched off for a moment, and then that's when it all went wrong.
Yep, just checking out the replay on screen now. Just covering across the start. He's got probably the biggest margin ahead for the next one. Oh, he's just... Yep, lost the back end coming into 1. Straight into the tyre barrier. Right-hand side, completely destroyed. Front right off. Race done.
Yep, and that's, I think, 2 from 2 for Mitch, wasn't it? Did he finish the last race?
No,
he definitely had an accident in the last race.
So that's a really disappointing way to end that battle. Still 3 cars to go, so it could be 3 more DNS, who knows?
Yeah, I was going to say, end that battle? No, that battle continuing on.
So let's go through the field quickly. With the 8 cars we've got remaining, Brian Walsh is bringing up the rear of the field. We're doing this backwards because why not? Brian Walsh currently in last place, cruising around, running his race. Looks like he might actually finish this one at least. There you go. There's an indication of what we're talking about before. You can see the green 15 on his bonnet. Yep. That's your weight indicators there. So he's 15 kilos lighter than everyone else. 7th place, Brock Harvey. He's
still trying to recover from that early spin.
He's only 3 seconds behind Cracker, so that might be one worth keeping an eye on. We know Brock Harvey is better than his pace shows in 7th place. He knows he's better than that. 5th place at the moment, River Risborough. Here we go. Termo's in 4th at the moment. Scott Murrell in 3rd. Devonish in 2nd, separated by 2/5 of nothing on track at the moment. And out in front, wondering what all the fuss is about, is Luke Joyner.
Joyner has actually just checked out. He's 6.5 seconds ahead of everyone, and he's just let everyone just mess themselves about. And he's just, yeah, we'll see you guys. We'll see you at the finish line.
Yeah. In hopefully one piece.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So we're getting to the halfway point in the race. It's now when you start thinking about that pit stop. As we see the Volkswagen diving down the inside into 14 and getting the move done on Devonish, and Termo's wanting a piece of the action as well. That was a very, very aggressive move.
Morrill has figured that he's quicker than everyone in that last complex, but now they're literally nose to tail down the main straight. Devonish tries to go to the inside line, doesn't plunge down the inside, but he's still holding there. And oh, there's a little bit of nose to tail contact. Devonish does give him Morrill a bit of a shove. And is he going to be able to capitalize it, or is Termo going to be able to capitalize on all of it and round them both up? Well, Devonish has the outside for 5. Go ahead.
I was going to say, outside of 5, that seems to be the better line around there. But get a bit of traction on the inside, as Morrill's just proven there. As Devonish does get a bit on the grass, and well, that pretty much concludes that battle for the time being.
For now. They're still nose to tail. This battle could go all the way into the pits. And yeah, as we come up towards the 20-minute mark, this would, I think, be around where the pit window would open. So we might see 1 or 2 guys start to think about diving into the pits. Maybe not from...
If I was Termo, I'd go now.
Yeah, I agree. Get out of this mess and then try and jump both of them out of the pits. But man, I want to just keep watching this. This is crazy stuff.
If they all pit within the same lap, they'll be back on each other's backsides.
Oh, Morrill's
runs wide.
gets a huge rallycross air moment off that curb there, and that has dropped him to that tail of the group. But it looks like Devonish hasn't necessarily got the outright pace that Morrill and Turmo may have. It looks like Devonish, once he gets to the front, he isn't able to step away from the rest of them. And he's not necessarily making mistakes. It's just he may not have the tires behind him, because he has been battling it since the very beginning of the race. Let's not forget.
Devonish is carrying a bit more weight than Turmo.
That is a good point as well. Yeah, he's the only one weight out of 3, so that could be a factor playing into it.
And I'm pretty sure Turmo's got a green symbol on his car as well. But he's actually lost a bit of weight, so that will be playing into it, no doubt.
Exactly right.
Surprisingly, none of them have actually pitted yet.
We're not quite at half distance. I think if you're someone like Joyner or someone further towards the back of the field, you can get away with just going as long as you want. But this battle right here is going to be the focus of where strategy is going to diverge.
Let's be honest though. In sim racing I've done, when you're in a battle like this, you've got to speak to the other guy and go, "You pitting yet? Nah, cool. You pitting yet? I'm coming in with you."
Yeah.
You know,
just to try and keep this going.
Yeah. Because as much as you want to win, it's just so much fun.
As Turmo tries to undercut on the exit of turn 13, he's not going to be able to hold that inside line into 14. But we do have Brian Walsh heading into the pits. They're going side by side on the apex. There's a little bit of contact there. And now Turmo's had to swing it a little wider, which leaves him vulnerable to Morrill down the straight. But Turmo does have the run out of that final corner. That's another thing I've noticed about this track, is that because you have to break the rhythm to make a move, it can leave you vulnerable to the guy behind you if you're in a battle pack situation like this. But on the other hand, you can use the undulation to keep you in front by making use of, you know, the better lines and the drops and all that sort of stuff as they all lock up heading into turn 5.
As Turmo, I think, tried to make a move there and it didn't work, and Devonish was like, "No, you're not getting this move." Oh shoot, I've locked up too.
And I think at the
that
back,
can happen when you're racing this close.
yeah, exactly right. You're basically not a slave, but you're very much focused on what the guy in front of you is doing, and it's very you'd be surprised how often, if the guy in front makes a mistake, how often the guy behind also makes the same mistake, because they're basing their inputs off of what's happening in front of them as they're literally nose to tail heading through that fast chicane.
Look out 14 here. If they can hold it together through 12, look out 14.
Devonish does hold Turmo up again through that corner. Devonish does get that that mini down towards the side line of 14 very quickly, and he covers.
There we go.
And Turmo makes it to the pits. Morrill follows him to the pits.
Great move by Morrill. Great move.
Yeah, I think, because he was a little bit off that group as well. He just began to fall off, so for him to jump in, that's actually a pretty good move. And we also had the race leader in the pits as well, Joyner.
Okay. Now we've got a bit of a strategy play here to see who... Oh, yeah, so we also have Cracker coming in now. But we do want to watch the... Oh, I hate how the game does this. There we go. So we've got eyes. Is that actually... No, was that Brock in the pits? No,
and it looks like Morrill's only taken 2 tyres. He's out ahead of Joyner. And Joyner's only leaving now. Turmo's still in the pits. He's moving away now. So it looks like Morrill has only taken the 2 tyres. Otherwise, there would be no way he'd be able to get out that.
That's an interesting play. Real interesting play. What it has meant, I think... Oh no, he was a lap down. That's fine. Brian Walsh is going to come to the equation as lap traffic now.
But it has let Devonish go out and just set a lap in clean air. It's not nearly the fastest on track though. Both Cracker and Brock Harvey are half a second quicker at the first sector, and I think that is going to be mostly due to tyres as Devonish comes in straight away.
No option. He had to.
Exactly right. You have to cover off the guys you were battling with, and I think they're going to get the advantage of the undercut because of how damaged the tyres are going to be. And Devonish did not have a quick in lap. He struggled through the first sector.
So it'll be interesting to hear what he does. You'd have to think at least Would he take 4? You'd have to think so, right?
I would take 4, even
Yeah.
if Morrill's only taken 2. I would take.
I just don't see 2 as a winning strategy.
No, it would be a brave strategy. It would be a Brad
Tell you what,
Jones
though,
strategy.
That was quick by Devonish.
Morrill is only coming onto the main straight now, so it could be. I think Devonish has gone for the 2-tire option, and he comes out ahead of Scott Morrill, and quite significantly too.
Ooh. Would it be possible they took no top? No, that'd be mad.
That would be, yeah, suicide. Maybe
Yeah.
there's just a difference in fuel drop into the car, because you have to do tires and fuel independently of each other. So coming in later means that you've got less fuel to put in towards the end. So that could be part of it.
That
But
could be
now
true.
both Morrill and Devonish are ahead of Luke Joyner, who was quite substantially the early race leader.
Meanwhile, Brock Harvey is still in the lead, still yet to pit. So yeah, I'm guessing Luke Joyner's definitely taken 4 then to be down that far as Brock Harvey comes into the pits now. So we'll see where he comes out. I'm tipping he'll come out in 5th place, but we'll see how he goes here.
I don't think he'll be, unless he does some funky tire stuff, I don't think he'll be a part of the Morrill Joyner group. Because, yeah, remember he did have that early spin.
He did. This race weekend's gone remarkably safety car free for the amount of chaos we've had. I know I've just put the curse on it.
Oh, don't. Why have you done that?
Okay, so Devonish has come through now to take the overall lead of the race.
Morrill's gone wide at the final corner, and Joyner follows him off. Both of those cars taking a bit too much in that first corner, and it could be that Morrill might already be struggling with tyres if he's only taken 2.
Turmo's come through now, 4th place. Brock's finally leaving the pits. He should.
So that says to me that he's taken 4. He's taken the safe option.
Well, he's even just been passed by Cracker now on track, so you're down to 6th.
Yep. So I want to see how long it takes for Joyner to start rounding up Morrill and Devonish. So they came into the pits at the same time, but if Morrill and Devonish have only taken 2 tires, they are going to be vulnerable in the later stages. It'll just be a matter of how quickly Joyner can process them to get up to the top of the field.
Then the lap times are going to be crucial. I don't know if I trust the last lap, but he was 6/10 faster. I feel like that was somewhat disjointed.
Remember, they both went wide over the last corner.
Yeah.
Joyner made the same mistake that Morrill did, which, yeah, lends credence to what I said earlier about following a car, using them as a marker.
I'm just having, he's 8/10 behind at the moment, and I'll keep an eye on it. Definitely later in the stint as well, I was thinking we would see the bigger difference.
Yeah,
When the tyres
it's
just
getting
hit
to
that
the.
cliff.
Yeah, exactly right. It's getting to the point where Joyner is almost in the wheel tracks, if that makes sense. So if you look at their lap times, the difference in the first split. Oh, Morrill's off. He's gone off in turn 2.
I'm guessing he's just outbroke himself. I'm going to say lap times, it was a 2:10 to a 2:13, so you know. Nothing.
And all the splits were within 100th of each other, so it was basically nothing.
Yeah,
But yeah, again, just a little mistake.
Just having a look at Morrill here, coming into turn 1. Just outbroken and broken. Outbraked? Outbroken? I don't know what the correct verbiage is there.
I think it's outbraked.
Yeah, over the hump, and away he goes. Tell you what, the Mini almost went off with him.
Yeah, exactly right. Again, using the car in front as a marker for what your actions are. And yeah, so yeah, that battle fizzled out very quickly because of the mistake. And so we'll see now how quickly Joyner recovers the 5 or 6 seconds between himself and Devonish heading into the last 15 minutes of the race.
I just can't get over how to get over 2 wheels on that chicane at 9:10.
It looks nutty, doesn't it? It looks so nutty. Imagine being in the seat of a Mini that far off the edge of the ground.
I'm just imagining putting curb cam there.
Oh, okay. Someone who understands how to code these things needs to do this, so we can spend an entire race watching from curb cam.
Problem is, it wouldn't be commentary, it'd just be us going, oh yeah.
Oh,
Moving on.
this race broadcast is now rated M.
No, that's not what I was going for at all. You took it in. Back to the track.
Back to the track again.
So this margin is coming down quickly. I wonder if Devon has had an accident, because he has brought it down to 5.5 seconds pretty quickly.
It was a much quicker sector 1 from Joyner. Much quicker, I mean by a whole 2/10. But
Meanwhile,
the fastest sector 1, Scott
Purple.
Morrill. Yeah, purple sector 1 at 28.6. So maybe the pressure from having Joyner immediately behind him was enough to make him make the mistake. But now that he's been passed,
Devon is off. Wow, that is a moment.
Moment and a half. He was very lucky not to make contact with the wall, and he is just going to recover to hold his place ahead of Joyner. But Joyner's got a head of steam now and fresher tyres, and Joyner runs wide into turn.
Oh, John, this is going to be a case of last man standing.
Yeah, it looks like it, wouldn't it? He had everything there. All he needed to do was just stay calm. He was in the prime position there, and he's thrown it away a little bit.
Yeah.
In saying that, though, very lucky to all three of them in the top 3 right now that they didn't make contact with the wall.
Just having
The fact that they've
joined us incident here. So he's just, it looks like over the hump coming into 14, and that's just instead of the car and goodbye, nurse.
He was just a little excited, I think. Just a little too excited.
Well, that's changed the complexion of this race, hasn't it?
Yeah, we got 12.5 minutes left, so about maybe 8 laps, I think. That's how maths works. Yes, that's how maths works.
That's how your maths works.
Sometimes.
I don't know if that's how correct maths works.
Thanks. And so it's a 1.5 first to second, Devonish to Morrill, and then a 2.5 or 2 seconds between Morrill and Joyner. So that's really where the action is on track at the moment.
Yep, you've got eyes on Devonish out front there. It's really weird. They've all made mistakes, and they've almost all cancelled each other out because of those mistakes.
Yeah, actually, you're exactly right.
It's unusual to see that. Like, normally when there's many people make mistakes, there's one that's just gone and taken the race away from everyone else, but not this time.
No one's been able to capitalize. Made those little mistakes that have brought them all back together. I think it just sort of shows how tough it is, how tough this racetrack is to stay consistent. As Joyner sets a personal best, 27.8, which is
look at Morrill's
only
sector.
Morrill's first sector. Second sector, purple second sector. So Morrill's definitely got the speed in him. It's just a matter of getting that consistency, and I think that's the word of the day. It's the consistency. This place is bumpy. This place is difficult with the elevation change, and all those little random parts, all the little variables, is making it very difficult to string a consistent set of laps together. And that's something I had when I was running practice, and it looks like that's something that people are experiencing in the race.
Meanwhile, at the back of the race, Brock Harvey's having a nice quiet run in 7th at the moment.
Poor Brock. He was looking...
having an interesting race, are we, Brock? He's not responding. But don't blame
It's because he's in the middle of turn 7. I wouldn't respond either.
True.
Sorry guys, been battling with Ben steering since lap 1, so...
Okay, that explains a fair bit.
Yeah, that was a bit of an incident.
Yeah, we'll let Brock deal with his bent steering, which probably isn't doing very well for tyre wear either, as we'll look back towards the front of the field. So that's something that you and I haven't really had to contend with before in terms of active damage to race cars in sim racing.
No, because, well, when I do active damage, it's actively just broken.
Yeah, even little things like bent steering arms and that sort of stuff. Of course, both of us have come from a Forza Motorsport background, so that's something that's we don't get to experience in our racing that we've done.
Well, in Forza, you break it, you pit, you don't lose any time.
Yeah.
So anyway, this gap's come down to under a second now. With 9 minutes to go, I reckon it could be pretty tight at the end.
It's gonna be very tight. We've got what 9 minutes, so about another 6 laps. It looks like Joyner has been dropped off the back of this group now, because he's now 2.5 seconds behind Morrill. So it is really just going to be a battle for the top 2, and it looks like that battle is going to start sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Morrill is closing fast. I'm just looking at the battle. Joyner's got a good 10-second gap to Turbo, so I can't see that getting any significant change in position there. But yeah, this battle for the win here between Devonish and Morrill, that's where the tasty action is going to be. Very different lines through 4.
I wonder if part of that is to do with the way that each car is set up, and also part of it to do with the wheelbase. We had a brief discussion at Interlagos about how the wheelbase can affect the driving dynamics, and I think with the Mini being narrower and a little shorter, it might be better at taking those tighter lines, maybe?
Potentially. I mean, makes sense.
But what is very important is now Morrill is within half a second of Devonish and is looking very racy indeed.
I give it 2 laps, and I reckon we'll be having a change of position here with the Repsol car getting in front of the other one. I don't know what hell it's going
The Willop racing car.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even think it's going to be that long.
No.
I think from the looks of it, as Morrill is right on the bumper now. It's sneaking up the inside. They make side-to-side contact in turn 15. Devonish maintains the position, and they're bumping and grinding onto the main straight. I don't think Devonish has got much fight here. I think that with the weight penalty, it's just so much more work on the tires, and that is what's becoming too hard to handle. If you just look at the recent laps, Morrill 7/10 quicker in that last lap, half a second quicker the lap before. It's a matter of when, not if, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Provided that Worrell doesn't make another mistake.
That's been the story of this race, hasn't it? He's gone down the inside of 5, made a bit of contact with the rear quarter panel of Devonish, and I think he backed out of that wisely.
Yeah, I hope we don't see a repeat of race 1 where... Remember, these guys had a great battle in race 1 where it was a little bit of the red mist. Morrill looked to get a little frustrated being stuck behind Devonish, who was defending quite well. So we could... I don't want to say we're going to see the same thing, but Devonish has been hard to pass, even with that weight added.
I reckon he's sizing up here through the Spa chicane here at 11 and 12, and we'll be looking for another run into 14, I suspect.
Oh, Devonish did a great job there of just balking at the right time. You don't want to do that too often, but at that point, it really killed Morrill's momentum and prevented Morrill from taking that run up the inside that he's been looking to do through 13 and 14.
You say you don't want to do that too often. If he does that 4 more times, he's got this race won.
The reason I say you don't want to do that too often is because the last thing you want is to get punted in there. And that might happen if you do it one too many times.
What, you saying Shandenberger's working behind him?
I didn't say that. You said that.
5 minutes to go, so what's that? It is about 4 laps, isn't it?
It'll be, 3.5. I think they'll get another 3 laps, so we might be perfectly on that 30-lap mark.
Oh, perfect.
So, Cole, who's going to win from here? Who do you reckon? 5 minutes left.
Joyner.
Ooh, okay.
going for chaos theory, because why not? That's what I do best.
That explains a lot about you, Kiwi.
It does. Nah, honestly, I reckon Morrill's got him here. Only a matter of time.
Yeah, I don't see Devonish being able to hold on for that long. It would be a Herculean effort for Devonish to hold on.
We've seen it before.
We have.
Devonish is building a reputation as one of the most ferocious races to get past.
Maybe he already has that reputation. Maybe we just don't know about this reputation. We'll
true.
have to ask him after this.
We will. You'll have to. Oh, as he goes down inside of 14, Murrell thinks about it, can't quite get far enough, and settles in behind for the turn 15 onto the front straight. So about 3 laps to go from here. And I think he's just a bit far back to have a look into 1. It's just because getting back into that rhythm, setting him up for a pass, possibly into 5 this lap.
It's almost as if Murrell is too close to make the move. I'm not sure if you've experienced this before, but when you're... he just steps a little wide out of turn 4. When you're too close behind the car in front, you get caught in their movements and their actions, and so it means that you can't really find the room to get the run on him. So when Devonish balked Murrell into turn 12, I think at that point Murrell was just too close, because if he'd been a further 2 or 3 tenths back, that balking attempt wouldn't have worked, and it would have meant that Murrell would have had the run to be able to make that move. So I think if Murrell actually just takes a step back, if he doesn't get this move done here into the far chicane, if he just takes a step back, drops back by a tenth and a half, and then really sets him up and actually thinks about how he's going to make the move, he's probably going to be successful.
Almost
but
like
at this stage of the race,
thing.
Yeah, not necessarily a slingshot. Oh, very checked up in there.
That won't help.
Yeah, not necessarily to slingshot pass, but to actually get the run at the right time, because you don't want to get the run and have Devonish chop your nose through turn 14 like he just has.
I love the fact that you assume I've ever passed anyone ever in the races.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm not sure if you've ever experienced this before.
Coming up to what we believe will be the penultimate lap, and that gap's sort of just blown out to half a second, so I don't know whether he's trying what you said or he's just falling off the pace, but I'll tell you what, there could be a good battle as well between Cracker and River Westbrook, 5 and 6 as well. We'll keep an eye on the front too.
Oh, he missed an opportunity there. Murrell looked like he was going to have the run, but he just put 2 wheels over the curve, and that unsettled him, couldn't get the power down. So that was what I was meaning. He took half a second further back, was able to set something up through the middle of that corner, and then when it came to put the power down, he sprayed it a little wide. So it's going to be very tight as we come into turn 7 and 8.
You can go through 7 and 8. Very, very good line taken there by the Mini. I'll tell you what though, slow on exit. Wouldn't surprise me if
Is Murrell going to chance it?
No. I mean, not this lap. Next lap, maybe a different story.
Next lap, we might see Joyner take the win then, if they try to go too wide through there.
Oh, we've seen it before. And we've seen it work before. We're just going to have cojones to steal.
Besides that one mistake that we saw about 10 laps ago, Devonish has been absolutely infallible.
Not anymore.
Oh, Murrell runs down the inside.
Oh,
is he going to be able to get the run? Is he going to be able to get the run? He's slotted back in behind, but is he going to have the run heading into the first corner? It doesn't look like it as we start the final lap with just over a minute left to go. This is the final lap of the race here. These guys have been battling literally since the drop of the green flag, and honestly, it could go either way at this point. But with how well Devonish is defending, I'm going to rescind what I said 5 minutes ago. I don't think he can get past.
Coming up to turn 5, the next overtaking opportunity, but Murrell's just too far back here. Closes right up on the braking zone, but can't quite get close enough to make a move. 7 and 8 the chicane, you'd be very brave, and I think he's too far back now, 2 tenths behind.
It's going to be turn 14. He's going to try and set him up through turn 12 through that chicane, as Devonish does a great job there of just holding that inside line and forcing Murrell to take the outside of the far chicane line. But he's going to try and set him up through here. Yep. He's going to try and find the run and see if he can get that line through the exit of this corner.
He's having a look down the inside of 11, can't quite. That's very, very brave move. Tell you what, Devonish has had a very dicey. Here we go, turn 14 coming up now. This is going to be make or break stuff.
Oh, Devonish covers that line beautifully. He's sideways in the middle though. Is he going to be able to get that run into the corner? They're nose to tail. They're coming through the final corner.
Devonish is going to hold it.
It's a long run to the line, but Murrell's got the run. Is he going to try and pull a MotoGP move? Is he going to come out of the slipstream? No, Devonish takes the win.
Oh,
what a battle!
By 0.109 of a second.
Wow, that is
Oh.
one of the best displays of defensive driving I've seen in a long time. Oh, what a race.
So, as we said, he's getting a reputation for that. That was fantastic driving by Will. And well done, Scott Murrell.
Oh, yeah.
Gave that everything he had at the end there. That was, flash your lights, mate. Very, very, very well done.
Wow, what a race.
Third place, Luke Joyner. I say Will Joyner. Third place, Luke Joyner. Fourth place, Termo. Just didn't quite have enough to get up to Luke. Finished 5 seconds back there. Cracker bringing his Lancer home. The Cracker. I don't know what to say this team name. In 5th. River Whisperer bringing his Lancer home in 6th. Brock Harvey with a broken steering arm in 7th. And Brian Walsh rounding out the field, our pole sitter, bringing the car home in 8th place.
Wow, what a race.
Whew.
The quality of racing that we've seen so far in this series has been fantastic.
Oh,
And
that was one of the best races, I think, as the 4 we've seen. That was easily number 1. Just the lights of the flag.
yeah, I don't think they were separated by more than a second, except for when they went through the pits on separate laps.
And then they just spoke up again anyway.
Wow. Oh, I gotta take just a deep breath after that.
Yeah, oh boy. That was very fun. Very fun to commentate on.
It's been good. I really enjoyed watching races at this track. I really enjoyed Barber. I hope we get to do more series at Barber. It's been a lot of fun.
Barber. Put Barber in every race. And I enjoyed commentating on that bad boy. Should we try and get some of the drivers in here?
We've got Devonish in the booth as if on cue. What a race, Will Devonish. Congratulations. Fantastic result.
Thanks, mate. It was a tough race.
Yeah, you don't say. We were calling it like 10 minutes to go to the line. We were saying that there was no way you could ever hold on. How did you do that? Honestly, how did you do that?
I don't know. I think Scott's tyres wore off a bit on the last 2 laps, so it gave me a little bit extra, but no idea. I had a bent steering arm through the whole thing, and mad racing. It's a lot of fun.
That was, fantastic display of defensive driving. We noticed that you were taking a much tighter line through the slower corners in 7 and 14. Was that a strategy to try and keep Scott behind you?
Yeah. So I knew Scott could. He was very good at pointing it, like fanging it up the inside. So I was trying to just cut him off a bit. And a few times he still went on the ripple strip to get past. So must give him credit for not punting me.
Yeah, we were gonna say we made the point through 12 that you wouldn't want to balk him too many times because he might just send you into the wall. You got close. You got real close.
I know, and he probably had I would have deserved it.
And do we have Scott Morrill in the booth? Is that
you do?
Yes. Congratulations on race 2. How just okay. I'm still trying to collect my thoughts after watching that. How was it from the driving seat?
You got that beep already? I could tell there was a few expletives in that cockpit, especially towards my friend Will. I don't think there's much of that car that doesn't have my paint on it, and vice versa. And it's the same with the Pink Panther car. I think there's a fair bit of pink on the Repsol at the moment.
Wow, it looked like a lot of fun that you guys were having, and very close racing. Was there a moment where you thought you had him? Was there a moment that you thought you were going to get through?
Yeah, look, once I come out of the pits, the car was feeling great, and I made the push to him. And I think I pushed a little too hard to make up that 8 seconds after he came out of the pits. I cooked me tyres, so I was kind of trying to control him behind him. And then every couple of laps, once I got him under control, I'd go for another push. Problem was, every time I went for the push, I overheated tyres each time.
Yeah, and the tyres were one of the big talking points of this race. Now, we were both very surprised that both you jumped Luke Joyner in the pits. What was the tyre strategy to do that?
I only took the two fronts. You get a
And
lot
what-
front wheel drives. You just if they butt steps out, just throttle out.
I like that. Did you take the same wheel?
Yeah, I was the same. But given how much we were battling, I think there was a lot of damage on all of our cars, and
Not surprising.
I don't know about Scott, but I managed to turn mine off to get it repaired, which Luke may not have done.
Well, Luke was ahead of the lot of you at the beginning of the race because, of course, he was battling with Hobson, and Hobson made a mistake and hit the wall. So I was quite surprised that that Luke didn't have the impetus to be able to join you guys. But yeah, great racing. Adelaide's next round. Are you going to take this fighting spirit to the street circuit? Do you reckon?
I'm definitely putting a bull bar on the front of mine.
That's just to deal with people from Adelaide.
Yeah, you'd fit in with all the bogans.
And I'm putting a mattress on the back of mine.
I take
He
a
says-
commentary's finished then if this is the banter going on.
Oh,
no,
well, we're
no.
just doing interviews. This is still going. You missed a great race, Nether, by the way.
I'm gonna watch it back, by the way. I've got all tomorrow and I've got all Friday off.
Fantastic. Well, you're going to have a great time, and we've had a great time. Thank you very much to the drivers for putting on a show for us. Actually, thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, that was a great deal of fun. And on that note, I think we should conclude tonight's proceedings so we can get crazy with the banter. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back. Well, Flood and a special guest host will be back in 2 weeks' time because I'll be at work for Adelaide.
Wow.
Yes, Adelaide is going to be a fantastic weekend. Until then,
I am so excited for Adelaide. Just quickly, I'm gonna be having a great time because Adelaide, of course, is my home city and my home track. So I'll be able to take you guys through almost as an expert, I guess.
I like it how you go almost.
Almost, kind of, maybe.
Hey,
If you were the expert, you'd be out on the track with us.
hey,
I wish. I'll
if
be.
he's expert like he is in
flagging.
our podcast, he won't be much of an expert at all. On that note, before we can get back,
Ouch.
we'll see you next time. Goodbye.